Okay, today I'm going to be installing one of these, a split charger, in my Transit Connect, and the reason I'm doing this is because I'm fed up of taking my leisure battery into my house to trickle charge it. It takes ages, but and it only uses 4 amps when it's doing that. This puts out up to 140 amps. I think the alternator on the Transit Connect is something like 110, so it's going to charge up my battery ridiculously quick. I mean, we're talking like probably at the maths that I've done, probably about half an hour to charge my AGM battery. So I'm only going to let it get halfway depleted, so it should only take half an hour driving, which I do every day, so it's a win-win really. Now I did consider solar, but you know, it's just totally different. It will take too long, and here in the UK we don't get that much sun anyway, and it will keep the van pretty stealthy. Now I don't know what I haven't checked my little battery readout here, but I'm on 12 volts, so I'm getting to a point where I need to charge it again, because I usually charge it when it gets to about 11.8, so I need to crack on with this job. I'm going to tackle the first bit, which is the hardest bit, getting this cable here, this one here that comes with the kit, to my starter battery, and I need to get this through the firewall. I was doing a little bit of research last night. There's a potentially quite easy way to get through to the firewall, but I have a feeling that it's still going to be quite difficult. So let's crack on. So on the left hand side passenger door just here, there's this grommet, and the idea is to poke the cable through there and to slide up the side of the engine compartment. In order to poke through the cable, I needed to use a wire clothes hanger, but I haven't got one, so I felt that this would do the job. And it's like, I don't know, it must be 2 or 3 degrees outside. It's horrible. So I haven't got any coat hanger available in my house, so I'm left with this. And I can't be bothered to undo the negative on the battery, which you absolutely should do, but I'm not a qualified electrician, so like, you shouldn't even be watching this video. In fact, stop, go somewhere else. So I'm going to be using this, but what I'm going to do is wrap it in electrical tape, just to stop it from accidentally touching any of the electrical circuitry as I poke it through the vehicle, trying to find a hole through the firewall and down the side of the engine compartment. So I'll just go and do that now. Okay, so this is what I've ended up with, just this piece of metal, a big pokey thing that's just got a load of electrical tape around it. It's about that sort of length to get down the side of the engine. Hopefully that will be enough. Got some excess that I'll probably use for another job. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll wind this up so I don't cut it, because I might use the cable later on, and just grab that stuff together and start poking down the engine and see how we get on with that. Okay, so I've poked through the cable at the side of the engine here, and that's coming out in the engine compartment just here. Now what I did was use these needle nose pliers just to pull that out, and now I can feed through the cable. So I've connected the red cable with electrical tape onto that piece of wire. What I'm going to do is poke it down the side of the engine compartment. Which requires both hands, to be honest, so I'll just drop down the camera and I'm going to show you how I did it. I've left myself some positive cable left over, and I'm going to use some insulation tape on the tip of that to make sure it doesn't touch the positive terminal of the starter battery. So I'm just going to take that up and then connect it somehow to the engine someplace, just temporarily, and work on the inside of the van. Also going to go through this top grommet here and into the glove box, which can be opened with these two tabs. Forgive the mess. Eventually I'll slide it into the glove box somehow and work my way through, see how that goes. I've got no idea where it will come out, but it should be pretty close around there somewhere. The grommet pulls out really easy, and then I'm just going to cut that with a Stanley knife and poke the cable through. That'll do. Thank you, Jesus. I've put this through here. I've put a little cable tie here. I was going to drill a little hole and cable tie here, but the problem is that I've just remembered that I've left my battery at home for the drill, so I may have to go home in a minute. So I'm just going to feed this cable underneath here. It should hold with this little cable tie, and then I'm going to cable tie it round here somewhere. So I'll just do that now, which should be easy, and I'm glad about this because I think it's about to rain. Then I can just, you know, put this wherever and get it to the battery. So I'm just going to cable tie this out of the way so I don't lose it, and then probably go home and get the battery, move to a different location, and put some more excess down here, I think, or actually I might leave that and later on grab some more excess, and I'm going to make sure there's loads of excess in the van, because what I want to do is put a connector for the turn wall on here, but to do that I really need some like a heavy rock to bash into on the floor. Now it happens to be brick either here. I have a feeling that no one's going to miss this brick, so I might take that for a bit and use it. So yeah, I'm just going to cable tie that down and then move on to some other place. Just quickly do that. Now hopefully when I close the bonnet this time, it's not going to start destroying stuff. This can go. So when I thread this under the line, I'll leave it there for now. I'll just do that tie. I've got plenty of these ties, so I'm not bothered about losing it. And I just cut this feed. And that should be safe enough. It's not going to touch anything. So, one of the things I hate about doing DIY is the van, it ends up an absolute mess. Okay, so I'm going to drive on home and get that battery and move to somewhere else, because I don't think I need anything from this DIY store, so I should be okay. See you later, Taylor. Okay, so the next bit is to get this cable down the back of here. I'm guessing this is going to be pretty simple. It should be just, hopefully, no way. Oh, I was really hoping there would just be an escape route out of here, but I guess not. Oh, hang on. Bonza. Yeah, it's pretty easy. You'll do it. You just need to feed it through with two hands. Really, you'll get there. Okay. So just got it down behind this foam, and I managed to feed it just behind here, behind this plastic bit at the bottom of the glove compartment. So you can see this foam. I don't know what that's all about, what it's supposed to be doing, but it seems well hidden now. This is the great thing about having an old van. You don't care too much about the mess that you're making, and I'm making a lot of mess. Now, with regards to getting this to the back of the van, you know, I got an option. I could go underneath this bit down here and work my way up. Once it's behind here, I don't care what happens really, because it can just go behind the seats over there, be out of the way. But I don't really want people stepping on this. But it depends how much time I invest in this, and I'm a man that says really that you shouldn't invest too much time in stupid activities like this. So, you know, I could put this down here potentially. Can I, you know, hide this relatively well behind it? I think that's going to be difficult. I could rip up this fabric at the bottom, which is going to be a nightmare, but you know, or I could go perhaps underneath the centre console, which looks like this centre console down here might be a formidable option. So I think that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and go behind the centre console here, because it looks the most cleanest solution. Look at this, this is so beautiful. So genius. This is going to be so easy now. I just need to fix this under there. See if we can get better lighting on this. The idea is I'm going to pull this back, and hopefully I'll be able to get my cable pretty more or less hidden. Yeah, I don't want this to be, I really don't care too much, but I do want it pretty well hidden, and you know, I can just hopefully go underneath the centre console behind the seats, and job's a good one. But there's a bit down here, needs hiding pretty well, which it sure seems to be. Just going to try and put this back, this bit of plastic. That looks good. Now, how can I get this fit? Ooh, look at that, it will just fold underneath. Oh, it just folds underneath this black bit here. And that looks like a pretty neat job. Now, I don't want to put too much effort into this because, for a start, it's an old van and I really don't care what this is going to look like. But another reason is that I can't be bothered to invest the time in it. You know, I'm just trying to get this job done. So I'm going to take this to the back now and route it, since I'm pretty more or less there. I don't want to screw anything down because I want to be able to feed in excess into the bonnet so that I can cut and make a cable and connect it to the positive terminal of the battery. I've never had to make a terminal connection on one of these cables before, but I have been reading on I looked at a couple of YouTube videos on how to do this. YouTube's great. So I'm going to get this cable all ready, get my tools ready, and go through how to make a terminal for someone who's never made a terminal before. We'll see how we get on. Okay, so I've got everything ready. And the tools that I'm using is a chisel, because I haven't got the proper tools. Just making this up. So I'm going to use a chisel, and I'm going to be basically whacking the chisel with a hammer. This is a hammer. With this terminal connector here, just on top, just there. The idea is I whack it a few times when this is actually on the cable. Now before I do that, I need to strip off a bit of plastic. So what I'm going to do is just put the cable sort of like so, and just mark where I think that I need to cut. Just leaving a little, you know, I want to make it slightly shorter because otherwise I'll have metal protruding out the other side. Which ain't too bad for the thing, to be honest, because we can just put insulation tape, you know, electrical tape over the top of that anyway. So I'm just going to cut into this in the old school way of stripping wires, which I don't recommend you do. You know, you should buy yourself the proper kit, but you know, I'm keeping it all old school here. I'm just going round, and eventually, you know, when I do this, I can feel the metal as I'm cutting into it. That's how I know whether it's too deep, and I'm just doing it pretty gently, and then hopefully this bit will just pop off. Like that. Job's a good one. So then I'm going to take this, try and put it in, get all of the wires neatly inside the connector. So it looks like that. Put that on this piece of wood here. Give it a few chuckers with the old chisel and hammer, and hopefully we'll have our terminal made. So I'm just going to do that here. I'm guessing you can see this. Now, again, you know, the best tools are the best, really. You don't want to be doing it the way that I'm doing it, but because I'm a cheapskate, I'm doing it the cheap way. Now, I wouldn't normally do this on, well, normally I don't do this at all, but I don't want to do this on wood. I would rather do this on some sort of, you know, some sort of brick. Here's one I prepared earlier, but it's raining outside. I don't want to go outside, so I'm just doing it this way for now, and hopefully I can create myself a little nice terminal. job is a good one. So that is pretty good. It's not coming off with any sort of pressure. And you know, I suppose we could do the reverse a little bit. Just put 2 marks on here. So basically make sure it is done. That's definitely done. And then just going to take some electrical tape, because like you can use they give you like these shrinky things. The electrical tape will do the job. Now, I've never used these before, and I'm going to attempt to do it now. So you just put that on there, and then it's a simple case of getting like a burner. So I've got one here, and we should be able to just melt the plastic. Now I don't know how much I've got of the fuel in here. I think that's the reason why I wanted to use the electrical tape. But this is working. See what I meant by I don't know how much fuel I've got. Last thing I want to be doing is going to a supermarket. Look at that. See, out of fuel. Oh. I think that should be pretty shrink wrapped. Yeah, that ain't coming off. That's well protected. So that's my first connection. Now, I haven't got a clue where I'm going to be putting the rest of these cables and where things are plugging in. So that's my next job. But I was just practicing that out. Never done one. Seems pretty easy. So move on to the next task. Okay, so I've just been playing around, and I just so happen to have a piece of wood in the van, which I can fit everything onto. My idea is to fit the split charge on here. That will plug into the positive of the battery. The earth cable that comes out of this, I'm not going to be finding an earth point. I'm just going to put it to the negative of the battery. I've read the instructions, that's fine. So I'll connect this on here. I need to cut the wood down to the right size. Now this section here, I think what I'm going to probably put this on that side, and then here I'm going to have a inverter, probably like 2000 watts or 1500, because I want to do induction cooking over here if I want a brew or something like that. Not a fan of gas. I've had gas in here, but I don't know, I just don't like it. It's just I'd rather use electric. The advantage with electric as well, of course, is that you could get yourself like a fold-away 200 watt solar power, and if you are camping up, or if there's a nuclear apocalypse, you can you know, whack that up to the leisure battery and have yourself some nice electricity until of course they die out, and then you're snookered. But it's just another way of doing things, isn't it? So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to cut this down to size, put that on here, put the inverter on there when I get it. So this is where I'm going to be wiring up my cable, which is going to be dead easy. I bet there's a bolt on the back of there, and I just need to make other cables to do the rest of the connections as per the diagram, which I'll put on the screen now. So the cables that I need to make according to this diagram is, I need to create myself a cable at the starter battery, which will connect to the small fuse box that I've got. Then the B cable, I've actually put that in. This is this long cable that I've thread through already that you've seen me do. that will connect to the split charge relay, and then I need to make a cable C that will go from the split charge relay to a fuse box, and cable D from the fuse box to the leisure battery. So I need to make those cables. I need to make A, D and C, and also E, which is a cable to the earth on the vehicle, which I don't have. So I'm going to have to create an earthing point in the bodywork and create that cable using the black negative lead, which should be fine. So yeah, I'm now going to break that. I'm going to cut this up to size, so I'll just put this in here. Yes, I just happen to have this piece of wood laying around, which is pretty cool, so I'm just going to mark it with a pen. Job's a good one. I'm going to get my my cutter on the job. It's raining outside, so do I do this inside? I think, oh, I hate the mess that it's going to cause. It's only a small piece. Shall I do it outside? Don't know. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to cut this wood now in the rain. Alright, so that's wonky donkey. I don't care. You have that nice smooth edge towards the front. Okay, so that's that. Horrible. Okay, so hopefully you can see everything that I'm doing here. So my inverter will be going eventually on this side here. So the leisure battery will be here, the inverter on this side of the board when I get it. This thing therefore is going to go on this side so that I can stick my head under and just have a look at the little light that's on there if I need to. To be honest, I could put it over here, but I don't want to be having a massive cable that goes all the way back. But then if I put it here, at least I can see it. So I'm going to be putting it here so that I can see it. Now on the back of this, we've got some screws to fix it. We've got our earth cable that comes out, and we've got our different points. So here we've got, when I put this in that way, we've got, this is going to the starter battery, this is going to the leisure battery. So it also looks like we've got little tabs to take out for when we put the cables in. So now that I know that this is going here, and I've made my mind up and final about that, I now need to go and make all of the cables and the cable lengths that I need in order to connect this all up together. I don't mind that the plus will have some excess on it when I plug it into the inverter on the back of this thing. The leisure battery is pretty close anyway. It doesn't matter if this is flopping around because no one's going to see it. So yeah, that's that. I also need to create a cable for this to go to the negative terminal of the battery, which, to be honest, I think I'm going to put that into the ground of a fuse box that I've bought. Got my fuse here, and I got my fuse box. So my fuse box is going to be for all my 12-volt circuitry. So I figured there, which is great because this ground can actually just go straight to the negative buzz bar just there on one of these bits, and then you know, I can just connect this bit here to the negative battery. So that's that bit sorted out. This fuse here, and you have like sort of these I don't know what you'd call these fuse bars, I guess. There's a couple spare in here, which is really good. But I need to get this on here. This is a 100 amp fuse. So that'll go on there. And yeah, just kind of connect it all together. So I'm going to do that now. Go and create all of the cables and get on with that. Sure about that. Seems a little bit too wants it to meet. They've given me tabs. The tabs don't go very. I have to put some flex on the cable, which I'm not too keen on, but I think it'll be fine. So I would be putting this in there and trying to push it in like so, then screwing this down somehow. Oh, if life was easy. Okay, that obviously needs tightening up, which I'll do with needle nose because I'm lazy. Yeah, you should be using a spanner. I do have a spanner set. I think in video 1 I was saying that I'm a lazy Christian. Hopefully I'm proving that right now. The thing is that's going to work. Okay, so that's going to go there. Now this is going to the auxiliary battery, which first of all has to pass through a fuse, so that's going to sit like that. This is going to obviously have to go to this fuse here, so I'm going to have to say that I need to cut the cable about there, which will be fine. Cutting this cable, I don't like the looks of this, but I'm left with one of these and I don't think this is going to work. I've never done a big cable like this before. Hopefully I can get through this with a few chomps. I am worried that I'm just wasting my time here, and it's just going to be absolutely a mess. Give it a little wiggle. Question: is this actually working? Yeah. Okay, so that's that now. I used a 6mm connector before and I need to use another 6mm connector. So, I mean, you've seen me already do this, so I'm just going to do it, whack it with a hammer, connect it onto this fuse box, and job's good. And okay, so I've just cut that bit off. Now, when I'm going to be placing this on here, what I really need to make sure is that when I put the connector on, it lines up perfectly, so I'm not twisting the actual connector itself. So once I've got these little bits fed in there, because you could crimp it and it could be like that, that's no use, and then you're going to put extra torque on the cable. So really what you want to do is line it up exactly as it needs to go, so sort of like that, I guess, and I would just mark the cable to let you know where the top bit has got to be for when you're crimping it, and then we'll put a shrink wrap on it and bolt it down. Jobs are good and it's well connected, and that will just close. Just connecting the positive terminal that eventually will go onto the leisure battery. So that's that cable, and you know, that will just eventually screw on the actual battery when I get around to connecting it. This positive has got to go all the way to the fuse box, and what I'm going to do is actually have another positive off here as well going to the fuse box of the split charger. This is I'm going to have another cable on here though that will eventually go to this fuse box as well to do all the 12-volt circuitry. So I just need to measure this up to length. This is still the excess that's inside the actual bonnet, so I need to measure this up to length, cut it. I've run out of fuel, so I'm just using electrical tape to cover these connections. Eventually, when I've got all this together, I'll probably show you later on, is I'm going to electrical tape this all up, including all over the battery, because this is the most dangerous part of the battery, the positive, apparently, according to YouTube, and I can see why that is. It's important to keep all of your cables so that they can't touch each other and create a circuitry, because that's how you end up with electrical fires. So yeah, I'm just going to make sure that there is no excess metal which could go and create an extra circuit, which, to be honest, once this is in effect and I've got the cover case over the top, that will cut out a lot of these possibilities, which will be great. So yeah, I'll just carry on. I've also started to notice that I'm running out of cable. I bought a 7-meter kit, and the leisure battery is at the back of the van. So I need to start being a bit clever about this. To the positive of the leisure battery, I'm going to connect this earth now to the buzz bar of my fuse box, which will then lead over to the negative of the battery. So I'm going to cut out a bit for this. Let's see, I'll probably take out that bit there. Yeah, we'll do that. So hopefully this will come out with no dramas. That's that. So this is now coming out, and they actually give you a different connector for this. So they've given me that one just there in the kit, which is really nice of them. So I need to cut this cable to size and sort of trim it down a little bit. Now these cables are slightly different, and we need a different tool to strip them, because you could use a Stanley knife, but it's not great. So I'm going to just cut this down to size and connect it to the buzz bar. So I think probably if that's going there, that's going there. Probably get away with that much, I think. I hate cutting cable close to a device because you never know if it will go wrong. It'll be in the wrong place. So now I can strip this. that. See, if I did that with a Stanley, it'd just be a nightmare. Might as well leave that out for later. So this slides in to there, and then we can crimp this. So hopefully that will. Uh-oh, what a load of rubbish. Did not do a good job of crimping it. I've done a lot of these before, and I'm used to the metal connection being a lot closer than this one, and this is just completely messed up. So what I should have done is hit the actual metal, but I think I've pretty more or less broken this now. So I need to find another one. Okay, managed to find one of my box of tricks. So we can get back to this. So this time I'm going to make sure that I hit the metal. Work when I crimp. So just put that in. Sorry the light's rubbish, it's a really drizzly day. And I'm also doing this in winter because I don't like to evangelise in I like to evangelise in the summer, and I still evangelise in winter, but it's harder when it's dark, you know, there's only so much daylight. So that's crimp time. And then this, you see, can go onto the negative of one of these here. I don't happen to have a screwdriver, so I'm going to use my electric drill, which I wouldn't recommend. So this should be able to go on there. Jobs a good one. So that will screw onto there, this will screw onto there, negative to the battery, another positive here to this fuse board, so that's all working. And yeah, that's it. So what do I need to do next? Okay, so what I need to do next is I can't connect this onto here because I need access for the engine, and it looks like it stopped raining, so I'm going to go outside, make a cable for the other fuse box, because we've got another one of these somewhere, and that needs connecting up, and it needs connecting up to the actual positive terminal of the battery. Which will, if I do that, the problem is it will make this will then become live. So I'm not actually going to connect it to the battery, I'm just going to get all of the connections ready and work in the boot, did I call that a boot? Work in the, shall I call it the engine compartment, the bonnet, the engine, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to go and do that now whilst it's not raining. Okay, so looking at this, I've got a little flip up terminal thingy, little protector there, and then what I'm going to do is bung this onto that there, connect a fuse, and probably just tape it on here. I think it'll be alright. Then that is going to, from there, connect onto this, which I'm going to have to pull out enough so that I can hit it on the floor and create all that. So I'm just going to go and connect it all up now to get a spanner on that. Okay, so it should be really easy really, so I'm just going to go and do it. Okay, now comes the bit that I really don't want to do, which is putting this bit, you know, I've done this bit, that's ready for the battery now with the fuse in there, but I need to put this on the cable that's inside the engine. Don't want to do that because it means that I need to pull out the excess. It's raining, but I guess it's got to be done. Got my boulder ready to go. Just whack on that and it should do the job. So I don't create any marks on the pavement, you see, because that's what a Christian would do. They wouldn't just start smacking straight onto the pavement, even though it's got all, you know, tarmac and concrete on there, because it's not your pavement. And true, this isn't my brick, but I think that someone probably doesn't want this, so that's how I'm doing it. Back so that it's all nice and neat, and do the fuse box. The thing I will say is that if you're working in any vehicle which has got electric lock-in, take your keys with you. Okay, I made a big mistake. I slammed the door with a big loop of positive cable down here, and cut a bit of the plastic outer, which I've just put insulation tape on. I'll put a bit more on there, but I think it'll be fine because the fuses next to the battery and the fuses next to the split charger will break if there's something wrong with the amperage going through the cables, so it should be fine. But you know, it's raining, so I just slammed the door because I didn't want to get water on the door, but it's just something for you to look out for. So I'll go and show you what I've done. So this is my cable ready to go in there. There's my fuse box. I'll probably put a bit of gaffer around that, insulation tape, and then there it goes, and back down the well as I showed you earlier. I'm well happy because all the outside work is done. I've been on this now for coming on 6 hours. I'm feeling hungry, so I think I'm going to go over to Burger King, get myself a tasty burger, and then get on with the rest of this. I know I'm going to heaven. The reason I know is because of Jesus. Jesus is the Son of God, came here 2,000 years ago, and he's God as a man, and he's amazing. When you look at the history of Jesus, just incredible. I used to be an atheist. I used to think it was a load of rubbish, but what I've discovered is in fact that God is a God of love. He's great. The God of the Bible is amazing when you look at it, and there's lots of perceptions about what it means to be a Christian, but it's been amazing for me. I love God, and I know that I'm going to heaven,
And my friend, you may not have the same certainty as me, but I know where I'm going, where I'm dying, and death doesn't worry me. You know, I'm happy with dying. I'm just scared of pain, scared to death of pain. But if you want to go to heaven like me, all you need to do is put your trust and faith in Jesus Christ, who is God's Son, and he died on a cross as a payment for all of our sin. If we trust and believe in that payment, we can have all of our sin paid off. And he died, they put him into a tomb, and on the third day he came back to life, he resurrected. Which is to show that he is God, that he's got power over death, and it's a promise for us that when we die, we too will resurrect like he did and spend eternity in heaven. And heaven is like a new earth. There is no pain and suffering. It's going to be great. I hope you find Jesus. Just put your trust and faith in him. Pray to God. I hope you find it. Anyway, let's finish this vehicle.
Okay, I feel like I'm seriously running out of cable. Now I got this from a company called Split Charge, I think. I've got a card for them here. Simply Split Charge. Giving them a shout out. I love the kit. It's fantastic. And I think the longest length of cable I could find was 7 meters. Now, if your leisure battery's at the back of your van, you're gonna need 7 meters. So just be aware of that. Obviously, it depends where your battery is and your leisure battery and all that. What I will say about that, something that I've learned, is wherever you're putting your switches, try and get it as close to the battery as possible, because otherwise you end up having 12 volt cables going all over the place, and it's just a pain. You get through so much cable, and it takes a while to tidy up as well. So yeah, with that in mind, I'm sort of wondering how this is gonna work out. But what I'm going to do anyway is put a 6mm connector on this, because at the end of the day I can just plug it into the positive on this and get this working. You know, my 12 volt fuse box I might do later. You know, I'll just have to work that out. So yeah, I'm going to put 6mm on this, link it up to this, put this on the positive of the leisure battery, and then I suppose instead of screwing all this in, I might just you know, check it running. The thing that I've got to do though is I've got to put a negative earth on my leisure battery. I haven't got that at the moment. I don't even know if you need that. The diagram's got it. I'm going to put it on there. But I did watch a YouTube video somewhere where there was a lot of people saying there's no point in this. But it is on the diagram, you know, so yeah, I think it's something I might do. Anyway, I'm going to crack on. So I have to run the negative right from the back all the way down here, and I'm planning on trying to get in there, because I think when I close the door there's enough gap, and hopefully once I've screwed through that will give me an earthing point. I'm going to use a self-tapping screw with a bolt head. Got a digital multimeter. Now, from what I remember, I think we set this on 12 volts, which is the V. 20 we've got max. Sort of 20 is closest. It's the V with DC kind of current. So what I'm hoping is I can touch the positive of the leisure battery, and with a negative touch this bolt, and hopefully I'll end up with a readout which I don't. The reason I don't is because I need to take these things off, little protective covers. Let's see what we get now. And I've got, yeah, 6.0 volts, which is probably okay because these cables are rubbish, and I've done this sort of thing before when I was trying to put in a split fuse or whatever that's called, and it was a right pain to find it because I had to keep on putting the cables in a certain position and then I would know that it would fit. Anyway, so that's in, that should be okay, and now I should be able to connect my negative to it. Trusty brick of justice. Is that good enough? Yep. Let's do the other side. This time, because it's connecting to the battery, I need to use an 8mm terminate wire. This will connect onto here. Which will eventually go onto my leisure battery. Sorry, yeah, will eventually go onto my leisure battery. And the other negative, I hope will reach to my other fuse box that I've got. So yeah, that's that. So just shove that over there, hopefully not touching anything too critical. It's in position. Connection. Hopefully that will work. Get tired now, and the van is like wet and dirty with all the rain outside. But I'm going to carry on. Hopefully finish this. Okay, so my final bit is to try and connect that spare negative to there so that this is earthed. Try and connect this onto the positive, and the negative ground obviously needs connecting at the back of the van. Once all that's done, the system is all connected together apart from the actual starter battery, which will connect everything. The other issue that I've got is that all my 12 volt circuitry is kind of connected to the leisure battery at the moment with individual fuses, and really what I should be doing is plugging them into here. And I've got to really probably do that because it will give me my lights, it will also give me my voltmeter that I showed you at the start of the video, to check that this relay, this split charger, is actually working. Now all that is going to take a while, so it'll be pitch black dark once I finish this. Hopefully I've got enough connections in the van to do it all, but I'm sort of on a home run now. I just need to finish all that off, and hopefully jobs are good. And so yeah, oh dear, not looking forward to this bit. My worst fears have confirmed true. I need to go to Halfords and get some more connectors and a bit more cable. I didn't quite have enough negative, so that's what I need to get. It turns out that there's plenty of spare positive cable, which I could just use a positive cable instead of a negative, but I'll go and see how much it is. I don't need much, but I do need to get more connectors, unfortunately. That's the nature of the beast. Alright, so off I go. Okay, managed to finish this. Well, the 12 volts electrics anyway, so I ran out of negative cable here to extend it, so I've had to use positive, but it looks pretty neat. You know, I've got 3 more fuses left to go. This is connecting to the leisure battery, that's connecting to the leisure battery, and the rest of it is, as I said before, you know, looking at this side of things on the leisure battery, we've got 2 negatives. Now one of them is actually going to the master fuse box, the other one is the earth that I've put in at the back of the van, and then here we've got 2 positives coming out. One of them is going to the master fuse box, and the other one is going to the split, well, to the fuse and then to the split charger, which at the moment that positive cable isn't actually connected to the starter battery, so that's the last thing to do. And I've got 12 volts on the battery, so this is about you know, it's not far off charging. So hopefully once I've ran the engine for a while, this yellow light will go up to the green a little bit, and you know, I'll probably leave it running for 15 minutes. This light here should turn on, and it should be pushing about 100 amps into the leisure battery, which is quite phenomenal really compared to solar power. And the reason I mentioned that was because it took me, I couldn't even find it, to be honest. On the internet I was looking around for, is a leisure battery, you know, what's quicker? Is it going to be a split charger or solar power? And what I discovered is it's far quicker by a split charger, because it's 140 amps, you know, and a solar power, I'm not entirely sure what amperage that draws, and I'm just looking around for my phone because I could do the calculation. I'll let you know in a minute. Well, I'll let you know at the end. Okay, so I'm going to go and connect the leisure battery, sorry, the starter battery to the split charger, and then you know, start the engine, run it for a while, and hopefully we should get some volts from this readout, and my leisure battery should start charging. I'm pleased with it. I'm a bit tired though, you know, it's like I'm probably going to finish here at about 8 o'clock, and I still got to tidy the van, you know, it's an absolute mess at the moment. But yeah, I'm just going to connect the starter battery now. Okay. Hopefully this will work. Yep. That's got it. I do not want to lose this nut.
So that's looking pretty sweet. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the engine now, and hopefully we won't end up with an electric fire. Let's have a go. Right. Keys. Starter battery, this has gone up to 13.5, which is interesting. 13.8. I noticed the lights got a little bit brighter, but what's interesting is that this relay doesn't seem to show. Oh, it has, it's got a little light on there. It's just the angle from that. You could probably see that, I'm not sure. I don't know if you can see that. So this relay's turned on now, and that must be charging up the battery. Okay, so I'm going to turn it off now. The light should pop off after a while. I don't know how many seconds it takes. It could be for a while, but it needs to happen because at the moment the leisure battery could be feeding the starter battery, and we don't want that. So I have no idea how many seconds it takes. Oh, so that was the click. The relay's gone off, and now my leisure battery is showing 12.5, 12.4, which is incredible. You know, that would take me ages to charge for a trickle charger at home. You can get speed chargers, but the advantages of this system is that you know, it will just automatically be charging your battery wherever you drive, and by the looks of it, it's not going to take very long to charge the battery. So before I go, I did say I was going to do a calculation for you on solar panels, so I'll give that a go now. So a solar panel at 200 watts, if I take that and divide that by 12, 200 watts divided by 12, it gives me 16.6 amps. So, like, in comparison, this split charger puts out 100 amps, because I think that's what the alternator will probably give out. So this is only, you know, a solar panel 200 watts would be 16% as effective as a split charger. You can't really compare, can you? Because the thing that I've come to realise is that the engine itself is a powerhouse, you know, but it's not utilised, because the alternator, it does like power the electronic components of the engine, you know, and other things that need that kind of power, but a lot of it just isn't used. I mean, it charges up the starter battery, but then all that power just gets rejected. So why not take it, since I'm driving, and you know, bump up the leisure battery? So to me, it's just a no-brainer. It just makes sense to use a split charger over solar panels. The other thing about the solar panels is that this van, you know, it's got a massive Jesus sign on the side of it, so like I stick out like a sore thumb, but other than that, you know, I don't want solar panels on the top of the van, because it's only a Transit Connect, so people are going to spot it from anywhere, and I don't want to be lumping the leisure battery in and out of the house. So yeah, the split charger seems like the solution to me. I might have one of those fold away solar panels if I do some camping or something like that, but I just don't see it happening. In the future, I'd like to tour around the Europe area and just go and explore everything that's got to offer, and at the same time go and witness to people. But you know, that's probably not going to be for another 10 years, and by that time, you know, I'll probably have a slightly bigger van. I'd like to bring a shower or something, because I'd like to take the wife along with me, so that's something for me to look forward to. But for now, the split charger offers me a stealthy kind of look, but the Jesus sign kind of gives me away.
but it will just charge up the battery, you know, in just so much more quicker than a solar panel. Okay, I hope you liked the video, and I hope it helps you out. If anything, hopefully it's brought you to Jesus and given you eternal life through that, of knowing Jesus as your Lord and Saviour. Okay, thank you. Goodbye.